describe this wave to someone that hasn't experienced it first?
Wave is junk. Don't come here.
Haleiwa is the gateway to the North Shore. When you're driving out from town or from the west side, before they built the bypass, you'd have to go through town and you'd see all the familiar buildings, old style construction.
Super country, you know, nothing's open past basically 7 or 8 other than the restaurants. You can drive by and go straight up the coast, but like, you gotta feel Haleiwa town.
Haleiwa town is right cheek by jowl to Wailua town, and Wailua back until about 20 years ago was a plantation town, so the whole North Shore was geared to the health of the plantation, and Wailua was one of the biggest plantations in the whole state.
Haleiwa town has history. It has a lot of surf history.
The building was built in 1921, so as the oldest surf and dive shop on the island, has a lot of history, and it's been connected with Haleiwa since day one.
We've had a lot of great shapers come out of this area, glassers. A lot of its heart and soul comes from surfing, and it comes from right here.
It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. You have like acres and acres of just beautiful green grass here. You know, you got turtles on one side, and you got a perfect surf break right in front of you.
The North Shore may be the mecca of pro surfing, and it may attract thousands of people every winter, but Haleiwa town is still shaped by the souls and lives of local people who live here, and we're all tied by the surf.
Everything in Haleiwa revolves around the ocean. Surfing, fishing, family lifestyles.
For me, that was the best growing up, like to have a bunch of friends right here on this beach. My mom would drop us off with a whole loaf of bread and a peanut butter and jelly, and stay here all day until dark, and then mom would pick us back up again.
I'd catch the bus from school, Wailua High School, to my dad's surf shop, and then I'd ride my bike here to Haleiwa. So I was a little Haleiwa rat. I grew up on the west side, but I started coming here when I was 8 years old. The Haleiwa Menehune stands out to me, and that's like probably one of the biggest and best Menehune surf contests in Hawaii.
The Menehune, I used to do when I first started, I did the Kokua contest. It was like around 6-year-olds and under. It was super fun.
Generations before us did it. You know, we did it. When we did it, I want to say there's maybe 50 people, like enough to fit inside the surf center.
When I surfed, it had maybe 15, 20 guys, and then
I think they're topping 600 kids this year. And from everything from the little Kokua division all the way up to the 11 and 12-year-old future pro rippers, they're all showcased at that event.
Ivy Bloomfeld, Kavika Foster, they have always put it on, and they just do such a great job.
I like to share our beach with everybody, you know, like come down, hang out, come share the beach, and it's just growing. It's growing, I guess, for the better, because we can't turn on any kid, you know.
It's pretty cool that we got to do it when we were young, and now we're all in positions to give back to the event and, you know, give back to an event that's given us so much.
Haleiwa, the wave, has many different faces.
It could be like 10 separate surf breaks at times.
There's a left, there's a right.
When Haleiwa is, 4 feet and under, it's as playful as it gets, you know what I mean? It's a really easy wave to surf. There's not a lot of current. The whitewash is perfect for the kids.
Basically, every kid that grew up in Haleiwa surfed the inside whitewater. I did, and so did Sean and Fred. Everybody did it. So that's the best little white water ever. You know?
You get surfing on any type of equipment. It's a pretty friendly wave.
From what the wave does when it's small to what it does when it's giant, it's polar opposites.
That's the unique thing about Haleiwa. You can teach beginners there, and then it's also has the same, I guess, rush for even the most elite surfer.
Once it gets to that 8 to 10 foot range and it's out on that ledge there, you got a lot of water moving. It sucks you into the pit. It's gnarly.
If you talk to anybody that's got absolutely smashed out at Haleiwa, they'll come clean and say, I almost drowned out there.
It's a great wave, but yeah, it's you can pay some pretty heavy dues. A broken board, the least of it. You know?
It's kind of an underrated wave, you know, in comparison to Pipe and Sunset, which get, you know, a ton of the attention. Pound for pound, it's one of the heavier waves on the North Shore, and when it's good and the right direction, it's you know, an A+ wave.
It's probably one of the heaviest waves I surf. I mean, hands down.
If it's over 10 foot, it's one of the scariest waves on the entire North Shore.
The hardest thing at Haleiwa is positioning yourself for the wave.
Once it gets over 4 foot, 5 foot, the current doesn't stop, ever, right? We call it the treadmill.
Yeah, the treadmill, yeah. We practiced that when we were kids, and we were like, we never want to get caught, and always paddling against that rip. And
It's like a raging river for the most part.
The current's just part of surfing here. You know, you can never sit up on your board or else, you know, you're in back.
If you stop paddling, you'll be 30 foot too deep, and before you know it, there's a 10-footer on your head.
There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. If you don't know what you're doing out there, you're gonna get smashed.
When there's a lot of swell in the water, avalanches usually has a lot of the size. Avalanche pushes into the deep spot right over here.
You're looking at big surf here, current coming this way, Haleiwa current coming this way.
And then it just sucks out through that trench. That trench is probably 60 to 100 foot deep.
For me, it's endless. It goes to like the other side of the world.
All that water comes off of avalanche and it pushes out towards Haleiwa.
And then it all runs out to sea where the boats go out. So you're a goner. There's been a lot of influential surfers that have gotten their butt kicked out here that don't like this spot because they don't understand it and they can't surf it well. And there's been a small handful of guys that fall in love with it and that can really surf it well.
Robin Mark, Brock Little, Todd Mitsui.
Kerry Terukina, Shmoo, Todd Chesser, Ross Williams.
Ross Williams, by far one of my favorites.
The Foster family, Leonard Foster, Kavika Foster, Uncle Hoyne, Earl Dolan, the Dolan family.
Kanoa Dolan and Ronald Hill, they rode their 9-foot boards like it was shortboards.
You know, Bonga used to be a huge standout out here.
Back in the day, you have the Sonny Garcia era where he just, you know, laid into waves and just manhandled everything.
Those huge hacks. Just one of his hacks, he could get like a 9.
The battles with him and Kaipo were iconic. Those guys were the mecca of power surfing.
Kelly is one of the best. I think he rides 2 small boards, but he gets it done. You know, I think if you ask him, for sure this is one of his favorite waves.
To the modern day, it's one guy I've been really watching out here is Felipe, man. He's got some crazy rail work.
Yeah, I was watching Ryan Callanan surf out here this year, and he was killing it. He was one of the best surfers out every day.
The Moniz boys, though, for sure, out there, they're ripping it.
So in my peer group, my favorite surfers, Bam, Keiko Bacalso, Joel Centeo.
Surfs Haleiwa almost better than anybody. And he was won out here, and to win out here against that field is pretty amazing.
Freddie P, Sean Moody.
I always was stoked to be a regular footer, but those guys on their backhand would surf so good out here, and you know, they always pushed everyone.
Yeah, I like always learn every time I surf with them.
They were excellent competitors, and now they've transitioned into the business side of surfing and working in the surf industry. But on any given day, those guys paddle out, they'll still be on the best waves, in the best position, and ripping the bag out of it. Don't tell them I told you that, but
It brings back great memories because like I remember competing against all the boys, you know, Fred and Shibats and Keiko and Moody and like I just remember those Menehune days and how it was so competitive between the North Shore kids and us and I just really look back at that and like that was pretty awesome.
We always had our little competitive little surfs out here, and you know, we still do that.
It was special to see him like do super good all over the world and be able to come back home and like, you know, give so much back to the community.
We've always had this bond, and Haleiwa's always brought us back. And the fact that we've been able to carry this friendship and stay so close has been because of this spot. We have a place where we can all meet. It's like, hey, where are you going today? We're going to Haleiwa.
You want to share things with the people in your life now from when you were a kid. And that's what makes Haleiwa so special.
It's still our gathering place. It's still where we all come. It's where my kids are learning to surf. It's where all my friends' kids are learning to surf. Pretty cool to see it, you know, all starting over again.
Knowing that our group of friends was able to keep that from the days that, you know, we first started coming here until now, you know, it's a great feeling. And I feel very blessed and fortunate to have that.